Welcome to another Planet 6 Parts video. Today's video, Spitfire handbrake cable. So what we're going to do in this video, I'm going to show you how to take this off, clean it all up and put it back on to adjust it, because I do need to adjust this. You can see it's looking terrible and grimy. To be honest, I always say it's always best for stuff to replace it. It's always best to replace it. However, if you have the time and the tools and of course a big bag of patience, then absolutely you can get cracking on it and clean this back up again. So let's get cracking on it. So what we're going to do first is, first of all, we want to remove the split pin that's holding it in here to the clevis pin. Now this one's a really small one. Unfortunately it's not the same as the TR6, so it's really small. And for some reason they like to put this upside down. Well, no, I'm going to say upside down. Me personally, I wouldn't put it in that way. Sorry. Need pliers. So small. Oh, good God. You know what? I'm gonna cheat. If you were putting this pin back in, you'd save it, but it's so small to be honest. I think I'm just gonna snip it and put a new one in. Oh, there we go. Alright, and pop it out. I don't like the way it goes down. Take the spring off. Alright, now we're free. Now, here's we're going to face some challenges. I'm sorry, hopefully you get the camera to see this. Sorry, all my stuff is falling over here. The problem you're going to challenge is you want to be able to adjust this. As you can see, it's pretty much 50% up, if you can see it. However, the nut, these two should be bumped up against each other, so that's not very good. So the best thing to do is to save you all the hassle of trying to, basically, if you put your spanners or wrenches, whatever, on one you go to do, it's a good chance you'll either wring the nut or you'll wring the thread somewhere just from the sheer pressure. So the best thing to do is actually take the whole lot off, just these, and then we're going to use like a tap or die set, and we're going to redo the threads and we're going to put it back on. So how do we do that? By right, we should be able to just twist this when holding it. And when I say by right, in an ideal world, oops, wrong one. In the ideal world, we should be able to put one up here and then twist this and it should undo. But I can tell you now that is not going to happen. It never does, because it's been on there so long, it's completely, I can guarantee it's seized. So first of all, I'll do is I'll grab a vice grips. That's just the holder, because I know the spanners usually slip off or so. I'm just give myself some grip. So the next thing I want to do is start lubricating it, just to give us some something to move on. Now lucky enough for me, if I can see it, and if you zoom in, it's actually almost off. So I don't know whether somebody tried this or not. Either way, it's most of the way off. So I can do one of two things. One is I can grip around the edges, because you should be able to turn the whole thing, or else you can open this up, which I like to do because I don't ruin this as much. I'd rather open it and squeeze it closed again than try to squeeze the life out of it to turn the nut. That's what it is. I'm going to open enough that, oops, camera. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm going to open enough that I can move it back, because I can always squeeze it back in again. And now what I can get is, I can get my 7/16 I believe spanner in to turn the nut on its own. Now I'll give it a go. Now if it's not, oh, lucky enough it's standing off. If it doesn't start to go, then what you can always do is get your blowtorch heated up and go at it until it does come off. And now we have it off. Now I have that off, what I'm going to do is at the same time I'm going to remove the next nut behind. The reason why is I want to get the threads fixed all the way. And this is up here for a reason. Now see, this one is the one that's stuck. Barely any movement on it. So I have to speak like my face is right in the camera. So, wire brush time. The problem about taking these off, and like any nut, is that once you have a bit of movement and it's been on it for a while, all the grime, so basically all the grime that's on the threads, as you go to turn it, you're just building up into a bigger pile to try fit through the nut. And that's where the problem is that it keeps building up, and the more you build up, the worse it gets. So sometimes it's best to go one direction, in other words, the direction you want to go a small bit, and then go backwards the opposite way, and that will bring some of the dirt forward and leave you more to get rid of, and it just means less going through the nut as you go to undo it. Hopefully I'll pick up the right one. Here. Because all these nuts should be free to move. I think the problem I have here is I haven't got enough of a grip on my let's see if I put the spanner in. That's not the right one. That's the right one. I'll just see if there's enough grip on it. I just like to use the vice grips because it sits around it, it holds it better. Yeah, see, it's slipping off this, so that's where the vice grips win. Hope you can see on my outshot. This nut here is basically the retainer one. This holds it in position. Alright. In the camera again. Alright, so I have a bit of movement on it, which is good. So now I'll go to my trusty ratchet strap, the ratchet spanner. So I go one way, and then I'm going to clean it off again. Maybe a smaller wire brush would be handy. And you have a bit more room if you don't have like me and have the camera in your face or in your way. It's stiff because it's still gathering grime and dirt on the way down. Now, could you remove this handbrake cable and do it that way? Absolutely. Ooh, it's tiring on the arms. Now someone's thinking, well, if I made the move like this, why don't I just go with it? Yes, you could, but you want to try clean it up so it's free moving, so if you need to adjust it more. And it's also maintenance. Still not enough. Alright, so now I have them off. What I'll do is I can take these nuts now and bring them in, just clean them off. You can change this. These are 1/4 inch fine thread, so you can just replace this. The square one, could you replace it? Theoretically, yes, but it's squared off to go in the catch plate there. So what I'm going to do is, now that I have it out, this one up here, sorry, I'm out of focus again. Sorry, I have to zoom out a bit. Okay. So the far one up here is basically what holds the one on for the spring. So do you have to take that one off? Nah, that was okay. You can get some movement on it, great. Well, I'm not too worried about that one. That one's just to hold the spring spot. What I'm looking at is this, the threads. Right, so now I have it off, I'm going to get my tap and die kit. Well, now I have it here beside me. We have our 1/4 inch national fine thread. I'm just going to thread it. It's not rocket science. That's nice if you have this. Like I said, if you don't have the tools, like I said, you can always put a brand new one on. But then you're getting, look at how much work you have to do to get onto it, between getting the middle, undoing the cables, doing a whole lot. So this is, if there's nothing wrong with the cable, this is just getting the last bit out of it. Oh, no hands left at this stage. So because it's going to go a little tighter, I want to fold the threads up as high as I can. Arms are getting sore. Alright, so I've gone a fair bit of the way up, pretty much to the top. I think it's going to adjust that high. Now, when you take this off, there's a few things you can do. You can lubricate it with some stuff, like people will put WD-40 on it. You can put, theoretically, you could put a bit of bearing grease in it, but I wouldn't do it because it's too sticky to get more grime stuck to it. What I actually put on it is an itty bitty bit of copper grease. Copper grease is meant to be anti-season, so again, that's a choice. That's me personally what I like to put on. No, that's all. Now, what we'll do is I'm going to replace this nut with a new one, because that was the one that was on stiff to come off. This one came off pretty easy. And all I want to do is, I want to make sure, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to run a bolt through it. Okay, so I should have grabbed these beforehand. There's my new nut. Again, these are fine threads. You can get them at Home Depot and Home Hardware, I believe. Not every Home Depot has it, but if you go into Home Depot where all the nuts and bolts is, they're in the red section. You can find most of your fine thread nuts, bolts, and if you have a tap and die set, you can get nearly every bolt you require. Just whether you, that means if even you have to cut it short, or use your die set and make the threads longer for take the collar off. So now all I want to do and make sure is for this one is you can use a tap and die set as well. I'm just going to run a fresh bolt through it just to make sure it goes all the way through. So I'm going to do that here in the background, sorry. So all I'm doing here is just making sure it goes all the way through. Just make sure the threads are clean in it as well. Like I said, you can use a tap and die set, but this is just as good. So once you pierce through, you don't need to go any further. You're not gaining anything by going any further down. Yeah. So next thing to do is to put it back into our sleeve again. And again, you can always replace this if you want. Like I said, I don't like using this to turn because it gets pretty pinched. If you find there's too much play up here when you put it in, because it should turn and not get stuck on it, well then what we do is we'll stick it in the vise. So as long as it can't turn around, that's fine. It just holds in position. This one should be okay. Again, I'm not restoring this. I'm just freeing it up to make sure it actually works correctly. There you go. See, it's nice and loose. Just where you need it. Now, I'm going to put it back on. Take it off. Now, as I said, the wheel should be moving okay. When you pull your handbrake, you should not be able to move it, at least by hand anyway. So let's put our spring back on. That'll help hold it in position. Now, looking at this down here, and I hope you can zoom in. When you want to adjust it, you have to move it that it should be short. You should have to pull this a small bit in order to get it to go on, because otherwise it's too short. Because you'll know when you go to pull it, it has to physically move it, and if it's too loose, it's not going to go anywhere. So this is where you have to start playing around with it and adjusting it. And the reason why I'm pushing this up is that want to make sure I have a bit of a pull on it. We'll get our clevis pen. Maybe one more turn back. Make sure your clevis pin is all the way down. Now I don't have to lock it in yet. Okay. So this could still be a tiny bit too tight, but again I want to make sure there's movement first. It's a little tight. However, when I pull the handbrake, which I'm going to do from here, it's solid. So I know it's pulling on the brake. That's good. So what I'll do is I'll take it back out and I'll probably drop it another one or two. I say drop it, I'm just going to turn it back. Alright. Now I have a rough idea where it's going. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get a bit of copper grease, put a bit on my clevis pin. Now, loose. Loose. That's pretty good enough. Alright, so with that, do you know what? I'm going to go one more turn back. I think I'm right in between. I want to be fully happy. I don't want to be taking this off. I know I can get one more turn out of it. So all I'm going to do is one rotation. That's it. Now, I need to go get a new pin. Okay. Find one small enough to fit. That's my tub of them. And now the only thing you'll need is, you'll need to be able to twist this because there's too much pressure. You need to be able to twist this around. Again, maybe that's why someone put them in top wise, it's easy for them. But I don't like it, I like to put the pin on the bottom. Oh no, it's trying again. So I'm just twisting it around so I can lock it in. I should really just go get a snip and do that. Because it's like 30 seconds of this video if it was snips. Anyway, so that's it. It's all on. I'm pretty happy. We've got moving on the wheel. It's locked in. So the last thing to do is to bring our nut back and lock that in position. There you go. That's it. I'm gonna get that little snip. Not that it should affect it, but that's it. So there we go. So we managed to unseize it. Well, it wasn't that bad. The one I done on the far side was to be honest, way worse. So to get the blowtorch out. And it says if the nuts are not moving, it says get your blowtorch out of some sort, heat it up, and then move it then. But obviously the key to this is that the whole cable is based on up here, not these nuts, these ones here. You have to hold up here. That's the actual cable that will stop it from spinning. So lock that in position and then you do the rest. So that's it. So again, any comments, questions, concerns, give me a shout. I'll try to help you as best I can. Appreciate you watching. Subscribe to the channel if you can. It's always nice to see people joining because it makes it look like I'm doing good videos. And again, appreciate it. Thanks for watching.